Hey, how's everybody out there? We are in Auburn, Indiana, and we are here for something special. So, once again, I'm Chris, Margie, Haley, and this is AFA, Addy Family's Adventures. And let's go see what we got for you today. We today are at the Auburn Duesenberg Automotive Museum, and we're going to go in and see a lot of history with these cars. And they've got a celebrity exhibit and also something special to see. We have just walked into the show floor. This is obviously was an old auto dealership, and there are lots of beautiful cars in here to see. So let's start looking around. The first car we're coming to is this one over here. It's a 1931 Duesenberg Model J convertible coupe. This is a 1926 Duesenberg Model A chassis. Showing the, looks like it was an inline, is that right? Probably an inline 6 or maybe an 8. Yep. Here we have a 1963 Chevy Corvette. When I think of the word Stingray, this is the actual kind of car I think of when I think of Corvette Stingray. It's got that long, like almost ducktail on the back of it. Just look how big the showroom is. This car right here, this is a nice looking car, a 1937 Cord 812 coupe, or approximately only 3,000, made in 1936 and 1937. This is like a late style, almost like sporty looking car. How small the inside of it is. Just a 2-seater. All right, here we have another 1937 Cord 812, except for it's not a coupe. These cars are just magnificent. Just all the details on the sides. Still has that small in the front interior. This is a convertible, of course. I believe this is saying it's a 1933 Auburn. Really nice looking car. Interior is all leather, just real fancy. And then back here, It's got a jump seat. I've always been interested in a jump seat. Never rode in one. Would love to try to see what it was like to ride in a jump seat. This is a 1936 Cord 810. Very nice looking car. Almost looks like it may have been ahead of its time. Look at that dashboard. The big seat in the back. These cars, a lot of them, they had these large back seats. It was like almost putting a love seat right in the back seat. Cars back then, they seemed to be more luxurious than the cars we have today. We are at the other end of the showroom. I'm just showing how large this showroom is. Here we have a 1931 Duesenberg Model J Beverly sedan. This thing is large and very fancy. It almost looks like it's starting to get into the limousine era. Where you can see you got the up front, the driver's seat, the passenger button in the back is separated by somewhat of a partition, and it looks like maybe rolling the window up like you could in a limousine. And they have their different gauges in the back too. And then on the back, they have a box for where you would put luggage. And it extends out for more. This is a 1934 Duesenberg Model J dual cowl Phaeton. Now, like I was saying about the last car, it looked like it started going into the limousine. And this one has a very unique part to it coming up here. And as you can see, big comfy front seats. And then this partitions up, but it comes down, and they have your mirrors in the partition, but I don't know how comfy. It looks like you'd have to leave that partition up to get up into the car, and then you can lower it down, and it has its own little windshield for while you're sitting in the back. Once again, it also has a box on the back. Like would have been your trunk. Alright, we've walked into another area of the museum. You can just see all these beautiful cars just sitting here. Oh man, there's some nice looking sports cars down there on the end. So let's go take a look. Alright, so what we're looking at is we're looking at a 1930 Packard 745. And we have the 1931 Packard 840 and a 1932 Packard 905. Now, if you remember, we did go to the Packard Museum, and I will link that video into the description and up top for those that are able to see the card. So here we have a 1928 Cadillac 341A. Look at that, the windshield partition for the back seat. The dashboard's not as fancy as what the other cars are. You would expect more from Cadillac. Still the big back seat. Got the spoked rim. And then the box in the back. Then over here we have another Cadillac, a 1930 Cadillac 452A. This looks like it's a coupe. Got the spoked rims. Got the nice running board right below the door. Oops. As you can see inside. It's a beautiful car. This is a 1954 Chevrolet Corvette. This is my favorite style of Corvette that they made. Obviously, it was the first ones. This has a rag top. Got the big white wall sides. And look at this, it's like almost like a mesh over the headlights. This is a 1963 Jaguar E-Type. Long front end on it. See if we can see inside. It's got that 1963 look. Or 1960s, actually. No back seat. Look at this. 1951 Jaguar XK120. I like this better than the last Jaguar. Just look how fancy it is. That nice red color. Once again, the longness of the front. Of course, this is just a coupe convertible. I don't know if it's got a hard top or it looks like maybe it's got a top that will button on. This is a 1952 Cicitalia. I think I'm saying that right. For 52, once again. Looks like it has more of an European style to it than what the other ones did. Obviously, it must be European, or at least English or British. Sits on. The driver actually sits on the right side of the car. And it's a rag top. It's got the spoked rims. Look at the door handle. Wow. So we just reached the second level. And there's even more cars up here. All the way around. Just amazing. This car right here caught my eye as soon as we came up the steps. It's a 1931 Cord L29 convertible. I like the color. Alright, so here we have a 1934 Auburn 851. This thing has got that old Hollywood kind of look. Large, long front end. I think it even got some art with it over here. I'll show the art here in just a second. It's a rag top. Of course, it's a coupe. You'd figure it would have running boards on it, but it has no running boards. Alright, and then over here, they actually have a piece of art with the same car, but with the top down. This is a very, very strange looking car. A 1948 Tasco. We're gonna have to walk all the way around this one. Look at the front end of this car. And look, it looks like your wheel fenders actually turn with the wheels. They're independent of the actual body. Look at this glass dome over the top. It's almost like an old airplane cockpit. Even the inside has almost like a old airplane cockpit to it. Look as well.
Is that like how you ship it?
I have no idea.
It's like that over here too.
All right, so we're gonna go back around. Look at the other side. The side Margie and Haley's on right now. It's just a very strange looking car. It's even got it looks like, I don't know what that is. It looks like it's a great big dome over your lights in the back, your back seat. You're not gonna be very tall to be able to sit in the back seat of this.
I don't think.
Of course, it isn't a seat, is it? It's just, it looks like a place to store stuff. All right, we've reached the exhibit, the Cars of the Stars. And we have a Cord L29 that was owned by Frank Lloyd Wright. Orange really makes it stand out. Move on to the next Car of the Stars. This car here was owned by the aviator, Amelia Earhart. It's another Cord. Of course, they got a cardboard cutout of her standing outside of the car. Here we have a 1926 Auburn that was owned by Babe Ruth, George Herman Ruth, the big Bambino. Get a look inside. We can get close enough. Here we have a 1925 Miller Junior 8, and it was a car that was ran in the Indianapolis 500. And once again, we were just there, so I'm gonna link that description, that in the description, and there'll be a card up on this video. Seems kind of weird to have a hood ornament for a race car. This is a C 1930s Bowles number 22 sprint car. This was used in the Indy 500 sprint cars. This 1930 sprint car was owned by Doc Bowles, built by Floyd Pop Dryer. Amazing how far cars have come for racing. Just look how small this car is. got your exhaust coming right up next to you. Of course, they got something right there to protect you so you don't burn your arm. Up here on the wall, they have the 77th annual 500-mile race lineup in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And they have a picture of what the speedway looked like back in. They had grandstands. Looks a lot different than what it does today. And here we have a 1961 Dragmaster. Looks like the early style of dragsters. Just amazing. Not much of an area for you to sit. Don't look like they were built much for comfort. This is a 2003 Indy show car. So of course we're in the racing area, and obviously you can see it's actually, you can get in it and sit in it and have your picture taken. Here we have a 1963 Studebaker Avanti. Once again, Studebakers were made in Indiana. Got the old wood grain look inside of it. And then right behind it, they have a 1932 Studebaker President. Got the running boards. And of course, they got the jump seat, big jump seat in the back. Here we have a 1937 Ford 812. There's a state police car. It looks like we've also come into the John Dillinger area. There's a picture of Dillinger there when he was captured. We have a John Dillinger Hoosier Hoodlum exhibit, and as you can see, these are some of the items that John Dillinger stole from the Auburn police station. And they actually have a little video about John Dillinger. And they talk about the Thompson that was stolen up here on the wall, the getaway car. And there we go, we got John Dillinger himself, the Hoosier Hoodlum. And if you remember, we actually did a video where we went and buried this man, we went and seen this man's grave, and I'm gonna link that and put that in the description, and there should be a card up the top for that as well. Alright, we're in another area of the third floor, and this place is just massive. You can see all the different cars in here. This is the 1912 Auburn Model 40. This thing has just got some character by looking at it. It just caught my eye. I haven't been really recording everything. This video would be over 2 hours long if I recorded everything. Plus, if you get a chance, you can come and see things that I didn't show. We'll walk around the other side. They got the back door open so we can look inside. Look at those windows. It's a wood framed window that you can roll up. Little back seat. Got the big wood spoke rims for tires. Alright, so this car is a 1923 Auburn 651, and it's got a little bit of a story or a history to it. A farmer disapproved of a man his daughter was dating. As an incentive for her to end the relationship, the farmer bought the daughter this new Auburn in exchange for her promise to end the romance. The daughter agreed and received her new Auburn. However, she continued to see the forbidden boyfriend. When the farmer learned of his daughter's deception, he took the car away from her and put it in his barn. The vehicle remained there for nearly 50 years. Therefore, the car only has 7,095 miles on its odometer and still has its original interior. Even though 1923 saw improved sales, the Auburn Automobile Company posted a loss of more than $24,000. Only 7,000 miles, a little over 7,000 miles. The interior is all original. Look at that, they got that jump seat in it, just like how the Packard's in. Here we have a 1933 BSA Auburn, BSA motorcycle. E.L. Cord was the first owner of the BSA motorcycle. He kept it aboard his yacht, the Virginian. Mr. Cord used his motorcycle extensively during his family visits to England in 1935. He also used it on his Nevada ranch. This is a Duesenberg V16 aircraft engine, and even though it has nothing to do with Disney, Haley pointed out all the hidden Mickeys on this aircraft vehicle. Just decided to take a break, sit here on this couch,
continuing the operation of the carriage works,
watch
the
about
Earhart brothers
the
began
Auburn,
to experiment with horseless carriages at the turn of the century.
Auburn
After the
Car
usual
Company.
period of trial, error, and refinement, not to mention
Nice,
ridicule from
big, comfy
business
couch. I haven't
associates,
seen one of
the
these like
Earharts
this in
were
a
ready to
long
introduce
time.
single-cylinder.
So I made a mistake of saying we were on the second floor. We was actually on the third floor. We're on the second floor now, and they actually have a fine arts museum. And look at this, they have different kinds of hood ornaments over here. And just different pictures of cars all the way through it. And look at this. Look at that. The Spirit of Ecstasy Showroom Bronze. Not a very big gallery, just real small. And then over here we have paint panels. Just different kinds of colors you can get for cars. Alright, so that's the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Automobile Museum. And it's a large area. We weren't able to cover everything. And we try not to cover everything, so if you decide to come here, you can actually see things that we didn't show you. And it was really, really interesting. What do you think?
It's huge. I don't know, I like it.
Haley? She said it was cool. But as for that, if you like our content, please give us a like, a subscribe, and a comment. And remember, if you do not know, I do appear on a show on Thursday nights at 6 p.m. called Disney Friends. A lot of times it's over on my friend's Gonzo's channel, who is Adventures with Gonzo, or it's over on my friend Al's channel, which is the Florida Freakout. So we'd love to have you come in. We talk about Disney stuff and everything like that. But as for that, that's it for this. And we'll catch you on the next adventure. And remember, adventure is out there.